PMacMovies back here for a PMacMovies little PMacPerspective discussion. We'll call it that, PMacPerspective. Maybe I'll even start titling these videos PMacPerspective. We'll see. We'll see what I do. I'm just winging it. But I do have some Wegmans pure coconut water here. The coconut water of champions. I'm going to pour a little of this. Relax, kick back, relax, and we're going to have a little chat. I don't think it's going to be that long, but we'll see once I start talking here. Drinking coconut water fresh out of the coconuts in the Philippines is the best, but we'll work with what we've got here. Those were the days. So I got about a half a mug. Sweet. So I wanted to do a little talk about a variety of things were popping up in my mind as far as what to talk about for this video. I don't have a haul this week because I only got like a few things. It's not even worth making a haul video, but I'll show those off either later this week or next week. We'll see how it goes. Before I get into the talk, Hamilton Book is doing their next update tomorrow. I think it's been happening a little bit earlier lately, so around 8. I think maybe the last couple have been maybe before 8. 8 p.m. Eastern Time. Almost just knocked over my mug. Good thing I don't have movies all over here. That would have been bad. But, so that's going on. I think Kino Lorber's going to be doing a sale here soon, too. So, you know old PMac will be hoarding up. But I just wanted to talk about with everything going on these days and all the division and all this stuff. But even before that, I've always kind of pondered, like, why are some people so, like, stubborn and closed off with their beliefs, and other people are, like, really open-minded and will not necessarily accept, but at least consider outside the box thinking. And I feel like I've pretty much always been the type of person that has always wondered, like, if somebody thinks something differently than me, I wonder why. Like, that belief system doesn't really make sense to me, and it's not mine. But I want to understand it. I want to understand, like, why do they think that? And that'll help me better, like, gauge what's going on here. But some people will just, you know, label people crazy and start, like, you know, putting them down, slandering them, making fun of them for their belief systems. And I've never really... I'm not going to say I've never done that because, you know, I used to be a young person. I used to be, I'm college educated. I know everything better than you sort of thing. You know, I've went through phases too. But in general, I feel like I've been open-minded enough to adapt. You know, when I see things that, you know, this is conflicting with what I believe sort of thing. Even, you know, there was even times where, you know, I was raised Catholic and got out of that pretty early. Well, not too early, I guess in my 20s, I would say. I realized what a lot of that stuff was. But when I was overseas, you know, I had a lot of time on my hands, and there was like this Catholic TV channel, and they talked to people, like, you know, prominent people about their beliefs, you know, people that have prominent positions and things like that, and they talk about, you know, why they believe what they believe and stuff. So even though I was, like, already way past that, I was like, well, why does this person... It doesn't make any sense to me as an adult. When I was a kid, it did, because that's what I was, like, taught. But as an adult, you know, these are people I think that weren't even raised into it, and then they ended up getting into that particular religion. So I just wondered, like, why, how would they get into that? Like, why would they go from not believing that to believing that? That's really interesting to me. So I would watch those sort of, not a lot, but I watched them, and I kind of like, I would want to gauge why they would want to do that. But I feel like some people, when they got the majority behind them, like, you know, the majority, the masses generally believe the same things. And when a lot of times when people know that they have the mass majority beliefs behind them, it makes it easier for them to put other people down who don't agree with the consensus beliefs. And then I was kind of thinking, so what do they get out of that? Like, if somebody doesn't believe what I believe, you know, unless their beliefs are affecting me as far as like, yeah, they should force people to do this and that. They should force this and that. Like, as long as their beliefs aren't infringing on other people's freedoms, you know, people can believe what they want or think what they want. They're, you know, they're free to do that. Why would I get upset at them for that? And I think that's probably been a progression too, whereas when I was younger, you know, into my 20s and stuff like that, and even maybe even my late 20s, you know, I'd get more upset about those things and want to argue with people and debate and stuff like that. And, you know, I've gotten to a point now where, why would I want to, you know, this back and forth, there's no point in doing a back and forth. You know, I'm very at peace and confident with a lot of my beliefs, because I've also went through the progression of believing this and then finding out that wasn't what I thought it was, and then just that progression through my teens and 20s into my 30s and so forth, and realizing and being open enough to say, I wasn't right about that. Like, this doesn't make sense to me anymore. What I'm observing in the world, what I'm seeing, this doesn't make sense. And then I end up moving on to something else that makes more sense. And then maybe I move past that. So it's been like a progression over the years. But I could have never had that progression if I was totally closed off to any outside-the-box thinking or any new thinking. You hear, that's crazy. That's crazy. And then, you know, you argue with the person, or you go behind their backs and put them down, or you do this and that. So if you have the consensus belief and you're very confident in it, and somebody else thinks something different than you, what do you get out of shutting them down, putting them down? Maybe, okay, so maybe you don't want them spreading false information to other people, but if what's on the TV and on the internet and everywhere is your beliefs, why would them talking to a few people about their beliefs, why would it bother you? I mean, what do you get out of putting them down? So I guess what I'm getting at is that I think it's something inside of them, something internal is why they're doing it. Some sort of ego issue or discomfort. And I think that this is something that I see a lot, is whether it's people on the internet or people out in the real world. And this is kind of a general thing. This isn't directed at anybody in particular. It's a very general thing. You know, you see it all over the place now, whether it be Facebook discussions, YouTube discussions, whatever it may be. There's a lot of this, I don't know, arguing back and forth, and I think for the people that do think outside of kind of the mainstream thought, we do want to get it out there to people. We want to at least try, even though it feels like we're not going to impact too many people. We want to at least try. But then the people arguing back are just the people, and I don't really get in these debates. I mostly see them on Facebook and stuff, and like, you know, you could find them on Facebook and YouTube very easily. But you'll see people arguing back with the mainstream perspective. Like, you don't really need to argue that. The person, everybody who watches like CNN or all the regular channels already understands that perspective. You don't need to argue that. Everybody already knows that argument. It's just interesting, the thinking. But you know, back to the other thing too, like the putting people down. Like, why do we on either side? I mean, both sides are. I think both sides are like putting each other down, and you know, I'm not saying I've never put anybody down before, but really in the overall scheme of it, it doesn't make any sense. We want to be able to get our point across to people and share and have people be interested and listen. And I think for people that are more, again, outside the box, that kind of makes sense. But people who just are on the mainstream media stuff, I mean, everybody already understands that perspective. There's no need to shout that from the rooftops or anything. So, I don't know. It's all interesting to me. I just kind of ponder these things. But there is so much division nowadays. And again, the main overall thing is, to me, everybody should be able to believe what they want to believe as long as it doesn't infringe upon other people's right to do what they want, as long as they're not harming anyone, directly harming anyone. And then people make the case, oh, you are harming people if you don't, you know, and that's into some really mind control crap as far as some of the stuff that they're saying is harmful to other people. They really have to push those campaigns to get people to believe that certain actions are harming others when they're not harming others. But I don't want to get into too many specifics there. I think the overall thing that I wanted to talk about, though, was what makes somebody open-minded, at least open-minded to consider other perspectives and not jump right out to, you're an idiot, you know, and get angry and, you know, I don't know if it's defensive, but it's angry and name-calling and put-downs versus that's not what I believe and it doesn't make a whole lot of sense to me. But I want to understand that person's perspective. Why do they think that? Like, what would make somebody think that? And it seems like most people don't do that. Most people don't want to know where the other person's coming from. They just want to put labels on them, put them down, and stuff like that. So, I don't know. I don't know what the difference between those people is. You know, the people who will, you know, I can talk to about things and they'll listen to it. They might not agree. They'll listen to it. They'll ask me questions. They'll want, like, explanations. And I've talked about this before on the channel where I had a conversation with somebody and they were asking questions. They wanted information. They were very interested. You know, we talked about it for a while. This person said, okay, in a few weeks when we talk again, I'm interested in, you know, the research that you've done over that time. And then the next time I talked to this person, a few weeks later, it was, they had built a wall. They did not want to hear anything more about it. You know, it was, before it was very open-minded, interested, asking questions about it, things like that. And then the next time we talked, it was totally, boom, shut down. It was really interesting, the change in that person. Strange. Very strange. But I'd be interested in your guys' feedback. That's why I make these sorts of videos. You know, just discussions. And I'm not, you know, people come at me in some of these videos, and I'm not coming at anyone in particular. It's just a broad discussion. if you feel like it's individualized to you, maybe you need to take a look at yourself and determine why that is. And all that stuff. But I want to hear from, you know, people who want to discuss this, not just the put downs and the, you know, the sarcastic comments and everything like that. It's just, some people are open-minded, some people aren't. Why is that? And if you're getting defensive about it, if you're getting upset when you hear me talk about these sort of things, you need to take a look, not externally, but you need to take a look internally at why you get upset about it. But take a look in the description for ways that you can help support the channel. Give me a thumbs up if you enjoy these sort of videos, and give me some feedback in the comment section, and I will talk to you guys next time on PMacMovies.